2 classes, we discussed about what is respiration and what is the importance of respiration, what is the pathway of air, what are the steps in respiration, we are discussing. I hope that we can understand once I revise all the things here, what is going on, we can observe that. Now, what is respiration? What is the importance of the respiration? In previous chapter, we discussed about how we are obtaining the food molecules. This food is the key role of energy production. We are doing any activities, what they are required? Energy is required. How energy is obtained? By taking food. No, this is not correct. When we are taking food, energy is not releasing. When energy is releasing, that food molecules are oxidized. Our glucose molecules are oxidized. What is meant by oxidation? Adding of oxygen. See children here, this is glucose molecule. Now what they are adding here? Oxygen. The process adding of oxygen to glucose molecules. The process is called as oxidation. So here the glucose molecules are oxidized. What they are releasing? Energy is releasing. This process is called as respiration. Here we are taking off oxygen, intake of oxygen, and this oxygen is added to glucose. Now energy is releasing. The food molecules are breakdown. The process is called as respiration. This whole process, where it occurs? In cell. In cell, what happens? Already in previous chapter, we discussed about the food molecules they are absorbed into the cell through the blood. Here, what they will add it? Oxygen. They are combined to release the energy. That process is called as respiration. Now, the respiration, this process occurs in all living organisms, either plants, animals, unicellular organisms. In all living organisms, respiration process is essential. Respiration process is essential to produce the energy. Not only that one, they are performing all the activities in our life. Respiration is a key role, and to maintain the gases in environment also, the respiration process. That is the importance of the respiration. Respiration is a oxidation process, catabolic reaction. What is catabolism? Destruction of, destructive of food molecules, destruction, that is called as catabolism. Now, the term respiration is derived a Latin word. Respire means to breathe. Respire means to breathe. The respiration, the term is derived as a Latin language. Respire. Respire means to breathe. Meaning the whole chain of process here, the oxygen is utilized. When we are inhale the oxygen, this oxygen is utilized in the cells to release of the energy. That is called as respiration process. Have you understood? Now we can see that what are the properties of gases? Who discovered gases? Discovery and properties of gases. See children here, in that earlier centuries, they don't know that what is gases. Everybody they know that air is a mixture of gases. what gases is present here, how the exchange takes place, they don't know about any scientist. In 18th century, now some of the scientists, they worked on this about the properties of gases. Who are the scientists? We know everybody, the scientist was Joseph Priestley. Joseph Priestley, and one more scientist was Lavoisier. These two scientists, they worked on about the gases. So, Joseph Priestley, in earlier that in previous chapter, we know that Joseph Priestley, what he can do? He was conducted one of the experiment about the gases, the bell jar experiment. In that experiment, what you find out that exchange of gases, the mint plant and mouse they will take to restore the oxygen, the exchange of gases. He find out that and he discovered the oxygen. Now, what they are doing, the Lavoisier, but everybody they are thinking as respiration is a medical term. They are going to the process is exchange of gases. How the process is going on, they are not find out that. The heat liberation process only they know that. How the process is going on, they can't understand about that. Later, Lavoisier, they conducted several experiments about the gases. What they are conducted the experiments, what he given the conclusions. And he conducted one of the experiment, he was taking as some charcoal. The charcoal is taking into that water trough or that bell jar. Now what they are doing? He was burning the charcoal. They are releasing one of the gas. What is that gas? Fixed air. He called as that gas is nothing but a fixed air. That is called as carbon dioxide. At the time, the carbon dioxide is called as fixed air. That burning of the charcoal in a bell jar to release a gas, fixed air or carbon dioxide. And now he conducted one more experiment. He was taking as a burning of the phosphorus in bell jar. What he observed? This phosphorus also they can burn. They are combined with some substances present in atmosphere, but they are not combined with water vapor. What is that substance? The burning of the phosphorus. They can find out that. What is the substance is present? Some substance is present in atmosphere, either air itself or some elastic nature of substance is present in atmosphere that is combined with the phosphorus, but not a water vapor. What is that substance? We can observe that. That is maybe the substance, the elastic fluid substance is present, respirable air is present, and he given some conclusion by that who? Lavoisier. And he conducted the experiments. He find out that some metals, the metals are burned to release that. They are not converted that milk, the lime water is precipitated into milky white, but we are releasing that gas that is converted into the lime water is milky white, the precipitate to form. He find out the difference, and he can find out that two process, but only one of the process he know that. What is that? How much amount of gas that vitiated air, the respirable air is present, and about that 1/6 volume of these respirable air, they have a chalky acid. Now what we are doing? Again, to recreate the air, we are burning or we are removing as chalky acid, not a respirable, where we are adding. First of all, we can remove the chalky acid. Now finally, he can observe that the respirable air, they are enter into the lungs. In lungs, what happens? This respirable air is converted into chalky acid, or how much amount of respirable air or vitiated air they can absorb into the lungs, the same volume of the fixed air or chalky acid, that means the carbon dioxide also they can expel outside. We are expelled to or we are breathed out, find out that. Now, this oxygen, this respirable air is combined with blood, that is why they are thinking as the blood is red in color. And later they can observe that the scientist was thinking the blood is red in color, they are not combined with respirable air in blood, their presence of hemoglobin, a red color protein molecule is present in blood, that is why blood is red in color. They are given the conclusion. Finally, Lavoisier, what they are explaining, that respirable air or vitiated air is oxygen, the fixed air, the chalky acid is the carbon dioxide, he given the conclusion. But up to they discuss about these all the things and the steps, what are the steps are present, they are not given any explanation, not having any clear idea about the steps, what are the steps or events in respiration. They are given the conclusion, what are the elements and what are the gases are present in respiration, only they can find out. In 19th century, in mid 19th century, one more scientist, who is that? John Draper. He was a physiologist. He was written as the famous book Human Physiology. In that book, he wrote some words. What he wrote, the chief materials, they are taken by living organisms. These chief materials, they can be burned, they require oxygen and the matter was required, they burned, they need oxygen and water. They are releasing, they are excrete that, what they are excrete? Carbon dioxide, oxides of carbon and water, vapor and sulfur, they are all releasing, they are explaining by the John Draper in mid 19th century. These all the scientists, they worked on that, what are the elements, their presence in that role of respiration, that only, but they are not having any idea about what are the steps in respiration. They are given that respiration process is a heat liberation process, energy releasing process, only they are given that idea, but not having any idea about what are the steps or events in respiration. See here, the 5 steps. Respiration process, the respiration is not a simple process, it is a complex process. There occurs in 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? Once again you recall the 5 steps. Look at here, breathing, gaseous exchange at lungs, breathing, gaseous exchange at lungs level, gas transport by blood, gaseous exchange at tissue level, and finally cellular respiration. See here, the 5 steps are present in respiration, that the first step is breathing, gaseous exchange at lungs level, gas transport by blood, gaseous exchange at tissue level, cellular respiration. Now, what is breathing? Exchange of gases. We are inhalation and exhalation of gases. The exchange of gases is called as breathing. We are taking the gas, oxygen and carbon dioxide from that nostrils to lungs. That means in lungs, the presence of a functional units are alveoli. Up to that, the gaseous exchange we can see that. Here that tissues, the alveoli, after exchange of gases, these gases are transported by blood into cells. Here in the cells, the exchange wherever the oxygen is required, again through these blood capillaries in the cells, the oxygen is transported. And finally, after that in the cell, the food molecules are oxidized, the adding of oxygen into glucose, the energy is releasing process. So, like that the 5 steps we can find out in the respiration. Now, let us see the first step, breathing. What is breathing? The breathing is a continuous process. Breathing is one of the step in respiration. What is breathing? Inhalation of oxygen, exhalation of carbon dioxide. Inhalation is also called inspiration. Exhalation is also called expiration. So, inhalation of oxygen, exhalation of carbon dioxide is called as breathing. Through the nose, the air enters into the lungs. About this breathing, we will conduct one of the activity. Already we discussed the activity in previous classes. What is that activity? What you find out here? We are taking as 2 test tubes. The 2 test tubes are one to another connected with the glass pipes, the rods like structures. Now, in one test tube, we are taking as normal water. One test tube, we will take that lime water. What we are doing? Just we are blow the air into the test tube through the pipes. Now, when the blow the air, what happens? Wherever the water will be present, there is no change. The lime water is present in the test tube, it converts into the milky white. What you find out here? That in water there is no change, but in lime water when we are releasing of the gas, the carbon dioxide, that turns into the milky white. The lime water, it turns into the milky white. When we blow, the air is very fast, but compared to that, normally we are taking as any syringe or needle, they are injected into the bottle, the process is going on slow. So, finally here what we can observe, which gas turns into the milky white? Carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, it turns into the milky white. So, we conducted the activity about the breathing process. The pathway of air, the passage of the air from nose to lungs, how the air will passes. What are the parts present in that respiratory system? What is system? All the organs are arranged in a systematic manner. So, that is called as system. Here that like that digestive system, here in respiratory system also we can see that various organs are present, they performing the each and every part, they have a specific function. Okay. Now, see here what is the pathway of air and what are the parts of human respiratory system. See the pathway of air, how the air enters nostrils to lungs. What are the parts present in the human respiratory system? Nostrils, nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli. Where the alveoli are present? Lungs. Through that alveoli, the blood capillaries, they are carried to the blood. This is the pathway of air. The oxygen enters through the nostrils like that. From that blood, the blood lungs to carbon dioxide is expelled out. Like that the pathway of air we can find out. Now, what are the parts? See the parts of the human respiratory system, each and they have a specific function. Nostrils, the nostrils are present in the nose. The nose, we can see that here in the nose, the presence of the 2 openings are called nostrils. These nostrils, they can open into a cavity is present inside the nose, that is called nasal cavity. And here inside the nose, we can find out one more structure, the hair-like structures are present. What is the function of these hair-like structures? When we are inhale or exhale the air through the nostrils, here the air is present to prevent the dust particles. Along with the air, the dust is entered into the nose. Here air will be present that to prevent the dust particles. Not only that one, here inside the nose the presence of a mucus to maintain the temperature also, to bring that water vapor here to becoming as a moisture nature, to maintain the temperature also. So, here from nostrils to blood, the nostrils to alveoli, warming and moistening go on this passage. In digestive system and in respiratory system, we can see that nostrils to lungs, the warming process and moistening, these two are occurs here, the whole passage occurs. Now, the nostrils are opens into nasal cavity. The nasal cavity here they opens into pharynx. Already children, we know that the pharynx is a common junction of food and air passages. In the human digestive system we can see mouth, buccal cavity, they are opens into pharynx, pharynx opens into esophagus like that. Here we can see that nose it opens into pharynx. So, the pharynx is a common junction for food and air passages. The pharynx opens into larynx. Here already we discussed the pharynx is a common junction of food and air passages. When we are breathing, the food particles are entered into that windpipe. What happens to becoming as some choking cough occurs. That's why at the top of the larynx, a flap-like structure is present that act as a valve or a lid that is called as epiglottis. The function of epiglottis is to allow the air in one direction to prevent the entry of food particles. Now, the larynx is also called voice box. Why we called as voice box? To produce sounds. When we are exhale the air, now what happens? This air to vibrate and to touch that to can produce a sounds. The vibrations are occurs about that we make as a sounds, speech or anything we can say about the larynx. The larynx is called as in man Adam's apple. Now the larynx it opens into trachea. The trachea is a tube-like structure. This is also called windpipe. They are made up of cartilaginous, C-shaped cartilaginous structures. Why they are made up of C-shaped cartilaginous structures? They given some support. They are not collapsing. The presence of a cartilaginous structures, they give the support. This trachea, it opens into that bronchi. The bronchi, they are dividing as the right and left bronchi, they can divide as the bronchioles. The branches, the right bronchi and left bronchi, they are ending in lungs. In lungs, these bronchioles are end in lungs. They have presence of a bunch of grapes-like structures are nothing but alveoli. These alveoli, here we can see that numerous, the bunch of grapes-like structures is presence of a single layer of cells. The functional unit of lungs we called as alveoli. Why we called as a structural and functional unit of lungs? Because the exchange of process occurs in the alveoli. The exchange of gases occurs in the alveoli. The alveoli is made up of a blood capillaries. The hair-like structures, they are called as capillaries. Through these capillaries, the exchange occurs. That's why alveoli is called as the structural and functional unit of lungs. Here what happens? They are going to the, they are enter into the blood through the blood capillaries. So, this is the structure and the parts and functions of human respiratory system. Now, we can see the lungs. What is the structure of lungs? How many lungs are present? A pair of lungs. Two lungs are present in that. Where the lungs are located? In chest cavity. They have a space called mediastinum. The right and left lung. The right lung has 3 lobes, the left lung has 2 lobes. Here that the lungs are soft, elastic, some pinkish color we can find out. The elastic nature we can observe the lungs. The lungs are covered by a double membrane called pleura. What we call? Pleura. Double membrane called as pleura. Inside the membrane a fluid is present, pleural fluid. They gives protection from mechanical injuries. The lungs, compared to the right lung, the left lung is slightly small in size because here the occupation of heart. Now the lungs, the presence of here, what happens? Their blood is exchanged. The exchange of gases occurs in the lungs. The pulmonary artery, it carries deoxygenated blood into lungs. Here the exchange occurs, the blood is purified, the carbon dioxide is removed. Now the oxygenated blood from the lungs, they collected by the pulmonary veins and they are transported to various parts of the body. So the study of lungs is called pulmonology. See here, now ask some questions about up to what I explained. What was produced by combustion according to Lavoisier? Carbon dioxide. Which gas they can produce here? Carbon dioxide. What did Lavoisier find out about air from this experiment? So here the presence of a fixed air. Fixed air is carbon dioxide. What conclusion can be drawn from Lavoisier experiment? Oxygen. Oxygen is respirable air, carbon dioxide is fixed air and some composition of gases. Finally, he can observe these experiments. Which gas according to him is respirable air? Oxygen. What does experiment indicates when we are conducted the breathing activity? Along that according to the breathing activity, what you can find out here? What they are indicated? Carbon dioxide is released. Which gas turns lime water milky? What we observe in that activity? Which gas turns into the milky white? Carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide, it turns into the milky white. What will happen? We are discussing that pathway of air. That respiratory tract is moisture nature, warming and moisturing is goes on. But if that respiratory tract is not moist, what happens? We think that respiratory tract is not moist, not preventing the dust particles. Not only that, they are not maintain temperature also. Now ask some more questions. The both lungs are similar in size. The 2 lungs, are both lungs are similar in size? No. Left one is slightly small in size. Thank you children.